Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video, and that's going to be the main focus of this video. This is my well-awaited video of my Goosebumps TBR. So I selected some of my favorites and some first ones. So I counted, get this, 35 of these. It's not my whole collection. I have quite a few left, but these are the ones that I really want to get to in the summer. They are all over just 100 pages, so I feel a good challenge coming on. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'm just going to give a brief synopsis on the ones that I remember. The ones that I never read, I won't give a synopsis. So I'm going to make this video as quick as I can. I have a lot of content to go through, so let's get started. The first book I have in this pile, and this is no particular reading order, it's just how I got it, so let's pull it up. First book I want to show off is The Haunted Mask 2, and this is the direct sequel from Haunted Mask, of course, and this is book 36, and this plagues the friends of Carly Beth, and Steve is the victim here. He has the old man face there, so definitely one of my favorite books. So is The Haunted Mask. So that is The Haunted Mask 2. Next book I want to try and get to is The Scarecrow Walks in Midnight. And this is about two kids who spend the night or the weekend with their grandma and grandpa on a farm. And they seem to not be of sound mind, and they think that a scarecrow is alive. So I remember reading this as a kid. I really enjoyed it, so it's on my TBR now. And this is book 20 in the series, and it's in excellent condition. So Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. Next book I want to read is The Girl Who Cried Monster. This is another memorable one. It's about this girl who figures some weirdo eating bugs. He turns out to be some alien creature. I do remember this one as a kid, and I really enjoyed it. And this is book 8 in the series. And another good, pristine condition. So that's it. And all three of these books I just showed was from Thrift Books. The Girl Who Cried Monster. Next up is Vampire Breath. This is one of his later ones, and it's book 49 in the series. And all I remember about this, it was about two kids who are thinking that they're not vampires, but their whole family are vampires, so they end up being vampires. Weird way of describing this book, but that's what I remember of it, and that's on the list. Vampire Breath. Next is a first read for me, and that is Chicken Chicken. I heard that this is one of his weirdest books, and I could tell by the title alone and the cover alone. Apparently it's about this girl who turns into a chicken, so that's all I know. And this is book 53. That's on the list. Next up is Egg Monsters from Mars. And unfortunately, this is kind of like tore up a little bit, but that don't bother me. This is another first read. Apparently, it's about like this alien invasion that comes from Mars. So, Egg Monsters from Mars. Next up is another first, The Beast from the East. And I believe this takes place in probably Asia or something. And this little dude is plaguing the region, so don't know much about this one, but it's waiting to be read. And that is book 43 in the series. And Egg Monsters from Mars was book 42. Next. It's How I Got My Shrunken Head, book 39 in the series. And I do remember this as a kid. Probably read this a couple times, but it's time to revisit it. And it's about like a family like going to like South America, and they have like a cursed shrunken head. How I Got My Shrunken Head. Night of the Living Dummy is next, and this is book 7 in the book series, and this is the introduction to Slappy, and it's one of the very few Goosebumps episodes that was never made. Slappy was actually introduced in Night of the Living Dummy Part 2. I definitely cannot wait to read this one. It's probably been years since I read it, but either I remember it or I don't, so it's on this list. Night of the Living Dummy. Next I have The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, and this is book 28 in the series. And this is about like a kid who has like a wish gone wrong. He wishes for his like sister to not be born, and he suffers the dire consequences. Pretty good one, pretty scary one, and I definitely can't wait to read it this summer. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Next, I have another first, and that is You Can't Scare Me. This is book 15 in the series, and it's about like these two boys trying to scare like this girl who can't get scared. It's kind of like a parody of Goosebumps, because the boys actually get scared of everything and she doesn't. Yeah, but this is just like a metaphor and a parody of Goosebumps. You Can't Scare Me. After that is The Ghost Next Door. This is book 10 in the series, and it's about this boy who meets like a new girl in the neighborhood. She's hiding a secret, and he has to figure it out by the end of the book. But turns out the girl actually died in a fire, and I heard that this is a very, very emotional one, so definitely can't wait to read this one again, and I do remember it. So, The Ghost Next Door. After that is The Blob That Ate Everyone. Some of these are in my personal collection before I started recollecting the Goosebumps series, but this is in my drawer, and this is a very underrated one in my opinion. But it's about like this kid who like finds like a cursed typewriter, and everything he writes comes true, and it's The Blob That Ate Everyone. This is book 55 in the series. I still have a big pile here, so let's keep it going. Next up is Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, and this is a Halloween uh, tale, and it's about like this invasion of jack-o'-lanterns that plague the neighborhood. Very solid one, and I definitely want to read it as soon as I can. Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, and this is book 48 in the series. Shocker on Shock Street, which is book 35 in the series. I might remember this one, but it's a very forgettable one if I'm not mistaken. But apparently a praying mantis is on the cover, so I guess this is like a meta Godzilla thing, so Shocker on Shock Street. Next up is Welcome to Camp Nightmare. This is book 9 in the series. It's kind of like tore up a little bit, but this is a very, very good one, and it's about just a summer camp who hides a secret. Turns out the summer camp is actually on Mars or something, and it was like a simulation of like how Earth was. Very good one, but kind of weird. Still a good one though. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. After that, I have The Curse of Camp Cold Lake, which is book 56 in the series. This is a very, very good ghost story. It's about this camp that's cursed, and a girl died there, and she haunts the camp. So that is The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam, which is 33 in the series. I heard that this is one of the goriest Goosebumps books ever written, so I never read it. Now is the time. But apparently the kids at the camp are honoring Jelly Jam, which is like some monster, and it's kind of like Jabba the Hutt in a way. He kind of like enslaves them to do his bidding, and if they like don't abide by his rules, he eats them. So that is the horror at Camp Jelly Jam. We have about 17 more books here, so let's get it going. The Haunted Mask, the OG Goosebumps book of all time. This is 11 in the series, and we already know this story. This is about Carly Beth, who is an outcast. She just wants to find something very scary for Halloween, so she acquires this mask, and it takes over her life. The Haunted Mask. Definitely can't wait to get to this one. Hopefully this month. After that is Say Cheese and Die. This is number 4. And this is about a kid who gets this cursed camera. And every time he takes a picture of his family or whatever, there's like a death prediction of what will happen. So this kind of like reminds me of like Final Destination in a way. But of course, like nobody like really dies in this story. So very, very good one. I loved this as a kid. So it's on my TBR. I have another first, and that is It Came From Beneath the Sink. I lied. I do remember reading this one as a kid. But this is number 30. And this is about like an evil sponge underneath a sink. That's all I gotta say about it. Stay Out of the Basement, book number 2 in the series is probably one of my all-time favorite Goosebumps books ever written, and it's number 2. We all know this story. It's about these two kids who get plagued by a plant imposter that their dad was making, and the plant imposter took over his life. So, very good one, very solid supernatural one. This is going to be my first official book to read in this challenge, so probably start this in the next couple days or so, and we'll see how I go from there. Stay out of the basement. Whew. Next up is Say Cheese and Die Again. This is book 44 in the series, and this is the direct sequel to Say Cheese and Die, obviously. And yeah, this just continues the Say Cheese and Die saga. After that, I have The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. This is honestly one of my all-time favorite horror books and Goosebumps books. And this is about a family who move into the marshlands, also known as the swamplands, and there's a werewolf on the loose. But who is the werewolf? Time will tell. And this is book 14 in the series. Oh yeah, and that one might be the one that I've read the most, so it's Werewolf Fever Swamp. Next up, Phantom of the Auditorium. And I do remember reading this once as a kid. I remember the episode very, very well. This is like a Phantom of the Opera-esque story about like a cursed play. Very solid one. And this is book 24 in the series. This is another first one, and this is The Legend of the Lost Legend, book number 47. This is R.L. Stein's route to medieval fantasy, so apparently it's got something to do with a Viking or something, so it's on my list to figure out what this is about. Legend of the Lost Legend. We're almost there. Next up I have Night of the Living Dummy 3, book number 40 in the series, and this is the direct conclusion to the Night of the Living Dummy trilogy in the original series. This is one of my all-time favorite episodes that ever aired, so I definitely can't wait to read the book with it. So, Night of the Living Dummy Part 3. Next up, Guilty Pleasure, but The Headless Ghost. Number 37 in the series. And this is about two kids that go to this very famous haunted house, and they see a ghost who's headless. So, who is the ghost? We don't know until the end. But it's got a very, very good twist. That's The Headless Ghost. Next, The Barking Ghost. Now, I don't remember reading this one, but apparently it's about the ghost of a dog. And that's all I can say about this one. And this is book 32 in the series. Next up, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, book number 13 in the series. Another very good one. And this is about a kid who takes piano lessons, and it's got a very, very haunting image in the episode where all these hands play the piano. It's a very, very good imagery. So that's on my list. The adolescents can be murdered. 6 more books. Night of the Living Dummy Part 2, number 31 in the series. That's the direct sequel to Night of the Living Dummy. Be careful what you wish for. Number 12, and another very good one. This is about like a girl who is being bullied by this other girl, but she meets like a fortune teller woman, and she's kind of like a gypsy, and she makes the girl wish whatever she wants, but there are consequences towards her wishes. So this is another solid one. Be careful what you wish for. Ghost Camp, number 45 in the series. And I don't remember much about this, but I do remember reading it as a kid. Apparently, Ghost Camp is kind of like a hoax or something, and this girl at the end tries to like uncover its mystery. So that's all I know about it. Ghost Camp. Final 2. Let's Get Invisible, number 6 in the series. This is about like a cursed mirror where whoever has their reflection seen, they become invisible. But if you use the mirror too much, eventually you disappear. So another very good one, and it's on my list. And I'm saving probably the best for last. My all-time favorite Goosebumps book, A Night in Terror Tower, number 27 in the series. This is about a brother and sister who tour London, and they go to like this Tower of London ripoff basically, and the executioner is after them, and they go back in time to figure out that they're actually royalty. So another very, very good one. That's on my list. A Night in Terror Tower. And that, guys, wraps up everything. That's a lot of reading, I tell you what. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Wish me luck, but I can probably knock out some of these in probably like a couple hours or so, because look at how big this font is, and the chapters are relatively short, so that's my Goosebumps challenge. Alright guys, let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you read any of these books growing up. And I'll see you guys in a couple minutes for my April book haul. See ya.